So in the last video we drew this basic bar stool frame. Okay, there's not really anything too special about it. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to go through and have a look at some options we've got for design features we can add to this bar stool. So I'm going to start off with the rails. Alright, similar to what I've done in the toolbox video, if you've watched that one, I'm just going to show you how we can add just a nice little curved cutout to this and ways we can modify it to get a couple of different aesthetics, I guess. I'm also going to show you how we can add some chamfers to some key edges to just soften the boxy look of it. Alright, so to start with I'm going to do the little curved cutout. So I'm going to select my sketch tool and click on the end face here, or the side face. And I'm going to use my line tool to draw some lines out from the center point. So to find the center point, we scroll along the line until the little logo changes to that solid line with a dot in the middle of it, not the T. Okay, so we want that solid line with the dot just there. Okay, I'm going to start there and I'm going to draw a line out in each direction. So this way first. Let's say I'm just going to pull these measurements out of nowhere and we'll have a look and see what it looks like, and we can modify it after that if we're not happy. So I'm just going to come 40mm that way. I'm going to deselect my line tool, select it again using the L key and go 40mm the other way. It's important we do the same measurement so it looks symmetrical. I'm then going to deselect my line tool, select it again, and I'm going to go up. Let's go up to the center point, which is 25. Last thing I'm going to do is use my 3-point arc tool to select two end points and meet in the middle. Okay, and tick the sketch. I'm then just going to use the extrude tool to click on those two little bits of the half circle, remove the full thickness, which was 19, and hit the tick. Now, I'm not really happy with that. Looks a little bit kind of random for an arc. So I'm going to go back into that sketch and I'm going to modify some of these and we'll see how it starts to look. So instead of 40, let's take that out to 75. Let's see if we make it really long, if it looks a bit nicer. So I'm not going to change the height, we'll just change the overall width of it. Yeah, I like that a lot better. So little things like that, we can play around with the length of it. You could also play around with the depth of it, so in the sketch. So I could delete this line and instead of going to the center I could do say 30mm up and delete the curve and do the curve again. So line, dot to dot in the middle, tick, and you can see the extrude still stays there. Okay, so the more you take off, the weaker the rail's going to get though in the center, so you don't want to take too much off, but you can have a play around with different lengths, different heights, and you can come back to the assembly and sort of see what it's going to look like in the stool. So you can already see it's starting to look a bit different. You could get really fancy if you wanted to, and in that sketch you could do a couple of curves. You could do a single curve, you do something a bit blocky, so there's all sorts of things that we can do. Have a bit of a play around, use your imagination, but that's a basic cutout we can do. Now, to soften it even more, I'm going to use the chamfer tool up the top here, and I'm going to select just the edges that don't come directly in contact with the face when they're the mortise and tenon joints together. Alright, so I've got all those. That's a 3mm chamfer. Let's just leave it at 3mm for now and we'll have a look and see what that looks like. So I think that's pretty nice. Go into the assembly. Yeah, so you can already see like big difference, just some little chamfers and that round over or that rounded cutout makes. Okay, very, very different to that original blocky look that we had. Okay, now I'm going to show you something we can do with the legs. So we have our legs here. I'm going to put some tapers on these legs. So if I'm looking at the outside of the leg, and I'm going to use the assembly to help me. If my mortises are here, I want my tapers to be on the sort of inside edge here. So if I'm here, mortise is there, and there's a mortise on the back there, I'm going to sort of measure in a certain amount and do a diagonal taper almost up to where this bottom rail is. I'm going to do a nice big taper on both sides. So the beauty of these is if you get them wrong, and chances are I might even get it wrong doing it here, if you get it wrong, you delete the sketch and you fix it up. So I'm going to sketch, I'm going to do the taper on this face here, and I'm just going to put the offsets that I need. So I'm going to just make these up and see what it looks like, and if I have to change them, I'll change them. Okay, nice and easy. So I'm going to do an offset in from this one. Actually, no, I won't. I'll go offset from the other face. So I'm just going to do Control Z to delete that. I'm going to do the offset from this face in, and I'm going to go, if it's 42, let's do half, let's do 21. Alright, I'm then going to do an offset from the bottom upwards. Now I know to the top of that mortise was 240, and then the mortise is 30, so that's 210. Plus there's a little 10mm offset on the bottom, so that's 200. So let's go up 200. Okay, so I've got 2 points there. I can now get my line tool, and I can mark from there up to there, hit my tick, and I'm then going to extrude and remove all of that, so 42mm. Okay, and you can see I've got a single taper. So if I go back to my stool, you can see I've got one taper. Now it looks a bit funny at the moment because it's on different sort of angles for each bit. I'm going to do a double. Okay, so if I now go to my legs, if I rotate around to this one, I need to do exactly the same thing on this face. So I just need to make sure my offsets come from the same spot. If I need to go back and check them, I can double check in this sketch. So it was 200 up and 21 in. So this time I'm going to sketch from here and do my 200 up and another offset, and we didn't want to be from that edge, I just realized. Control Z, I want to be from the outside edge. This just makes it easier if you want to modify them. Make sure it's from the same edge on each one. So 21. Okay, and then use our line tool to draw our diagonal line. Click our tick. Use our extrude to remove our full 42. Okay, and hit OK. Okay, so I'm going to go back to what does it look like from front. So you can see we've got two tapers here, and if I go back to the assembly, you can see we've got a nice high taper. Now I reckon it actually looks a bit funny with how close it's right at the bottom of this rail, so I'm actually not really happy with that. I think it's a bit too high, so I'm going to go back into my leg and let's modify it. So I don't want it to be 200, let's just go to 150. So I modify that one, accept it, go to sketch, oh that was the one I just did, so sketch 4 instead, spin round, make that one 150 as well. Okay, let's reorientate this. Okay, they're even, I can see it's the same line. Go back to my assembly. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. Okay, so that's just a simple dual taper. I'm also going to apply a chamfer, same 3mm chamfer to most of the edges of this one as well. I'm going to do them down through these as well. Oh. Got one more just here. Okay, and I'm even going to put a little one on the bottom. stop it from chipping out. We'll see what it looks like. Can always come back and get rid of it. Tick. Let's have a look in the assembly. Yeah, so you can see I've taken that real basic boxy stool frame and I've turned it into something with a few design features. So I've got these rounded cutouts with some little 3mm chamfers. Got a dual taper on the bottom of the leg, again 3mm chamfers all around. Okay, and we've dressed up that real basic boxy stool with some nice simple design modifications. Okay, I'll show you in the next video how to create the top to go on top of it. See you there.